Welcome everyone to the Vermin Sermon. Today we have a really special guest. We have NinerFan Gaming, aka NFSNinerFan, aka Richard, aka the
I'm eating
author
taco
of,
salad.
aka I'm eating taco salad, and the author of the phrase 2020 Year of the Gamer.
Oh, actually,
Welcome.
before we hop into anything,
Yeah.
do you guys actually want to know the how that actually all started? It's pretty funny, actually.
The lore, the lore.
The lore,
the
the
2020
gamer
year, the
lore.
game lore.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Here you'll hear it first here on the Vermin
All right.
Sermon.
So basically, what happened was I remember one morning. I'm not sure if you were there, Stelio, or not, but I remember you were probably there, honestly. But it was me, Cam, and CJ. And I remember CJ, I was playing Need for Speed Heat. This is like back in like November or something. And I remember CJ was complaining about something, as he always does with his games. And I was like, quit this simp shit, CJ. It's 2020 year of the gamer. Come on, man up, gamer up. And then fucking Cam thought it was hilarious because sometimes like the shit that I say, like I just say it and I don't think it's funny. I kind of just move on. But like when Cam thinks it's funny, that's when me and him will, we'll ride with the meme for a long time, because like even the other day when we're listening to fucking Warren G, he goes when he was playing the song, he was like, do you remember the song? And I just like say regulators, really loud, and that became a meme. So like honestly, like I'll just say random shit, and if Cam thinks it's funny, me and him will ride along with the meme, which is the same as the 2020 year of the gamer shit. He thought that shit was fucking hilarious, so I tweeted it out, and yeah.
You know what's pretty good? I like the was it Soul Cease full of shit.
Yeah, that's a classic right there.
Legendary moment right there. We need to make those. We need to make T-shirts that say "Cease full of shit."
I don't know if I want that on my resume. You know what I'm saying?
That's insane to hear around. I'm like, what the fuck is the context of that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one to explain.
To be fair, 2020 can be year of the gamer because there are quite a few possibly decent ones coming out.
For me, 2020 isn't the year of the gamer. For me, it's the year of studying Calculus 2, homework.
Unfortunately, the same thing for me, but
it's
after
the
that,
year of sleeping. That's what I do in my free time. I just sleep. Not enough time to do anything else.
Me and Cam already premeditated a 2021 meme, but we're gonna keep that for another 10 months secret. we have I shit you not, last month me and Cam were like trying to think of, oh man, if 2020 is the year of the gamer, then what's 2021? And I came up with something, and me and Cam scheduled the tweet for New Year's Eve UK time at exactly when the fucking year changes.
Oh,
so,
wow! Exclusive.
you'll see the 2021 meme that me and him made in a fucking another retarded Discord call in the new year, which is in like fucking 10 months, so that doesn't really matter. But yeah, we already premeditated a meme for next year, so.
By then, you guys are gonna forget and then see the tweet pop up and like,
oh yeah. We even said that. We're like, bro, we're gonna forget about this, and when New Year's comes around, we're gonna lose our shit.
Oh yeah. Oh god, it's gonna be. I was talking to Jay about it. How fuck it? Surely, since like, what viewers? Surely we could just talk about it on here, and if you watch it, then you know the strats. And if you don't, then well, suck, you know, because. I was talking to Jay about it. He's like, it's gonna be Feral, and it's like a movie. It's like, what are you doing right now? I was like, oh yeah, like we're drunkenly skating with this ramp we have at the flare. I'm like, yeah, if you want movies, just come here. Oh damn, it's gonna be a beer. I honestly am gonna try push for surely we do a live drive cast episode of some bullshit. That'd be retarded.
Yeah, that has to happen.
If we're all together like that, can't wait.
But honestly, like everyone's time zones are so fucked to the point where it's not possible anymore. Like I'm gonna be starting a job soon. CJ already has a job. Like yeah, we all have. Well, me and CJ have school and work. And then Jay, he's in the middle of a scenario where he's moving house. I'm not gonna speak too much about it because that's Jay's Jay's business. But basically, like if you're wondering where Jay's at, he's just moving house and he's not at the optimal place to do videos right now. He really wants to. He's telling me like even today, like. Yeah, he really wants to make videos, so like, yeah, he should be back. I'm not even gonna say a time frame, but he'll be back soon. And he'll go balls to the wall again. He wants to make videos really bad, and I understand.
You know,
it's really frustrating when you want to make a video and you just can't. And so yeah, when he comes back, he'll make some banger ass shit. But yeah, for right now, he's just gonna get everything situated in his life, and then he'll go back to it.
Because of the Tokyo Nights shit, he's been asking me because like in-depth shit about like Japan's car scene, like what's some like little factors. I'm like, the car scene isn't the important part; it's how they go about it because they're just wild fucking cars. Like a Ferrari dealership businessman took out an F40 and did over 300. Yeah, do 300. That's insane. Just how they behave over there, Bob.
All right, I think there are a couple topics that we all wanted to discuss. So I first want to start with something Niner brought up, which is kind of the creative process as a YouTuber. So I think you should go ahead and start on that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Honestly, like, okay, so I am kind of the belief that if you have a goal in mind and you don't reach it, you can't simp about it, because I fucking hate when people have like a big goal, like say for example, I'll just use me as an example. So like obviously end goal would be like I'd make videos for a living and rely on that as a source of income. However, like if you aren't in a place where you could properly do that and it takes forever, you can't fucking simp about it. You have to. I have a note written down just so I remember myself that I can't do this. And it says you have no right to feel underappreciated if you're underachieving. So like if you're not putting the work that you need, if you're not putting in the work that you need, if you're not putting the work in, you kind of have to kind of realize that sorry, I'm stuttering like a motherfucker. What I'm trying to say is if you're not fulfilling the amount of time into something as you possibly can and you complain about it, you have no right to complain about it if you're not trying your absolute hardest, because if you try your hardest and keep a good mindset, you'll eventually get there one day, and you can't expect to blow up out of nowhere either. That's another thing people don't really understand, is the growth process happens over time. It's more organic over time too. Which is why, like, even if I were to use music as an example, that's why you see people who blow up and then the next thing you know, they're like not even talked about anymore. They're not a relevant.
Ugly God.
So yeah, exactly. Ugly God's one.
He joined FaZe for some reason.
Yeah, like it's all fucking retarded. Like you have to kind of expect the growth process to be like really gruelingly slow. And yeah, you have to expect that to be organic over time, because if you blow up out of nowhere, you better stay on top of your shit, because if you don't fulfill whatever the people who listen to your music or watch your videos or do whatever you do, then you know you're gonna fall off pretty quick. Which is why I'm really appreciative of the knowledge that the growth process is slow.
I think I can agree. There's I'm of the opinion that suddenly blowing up can actually possibly be very detrimental to your success, personal success. I think that's possible. You know, because you don't exactly know where you're at. You now have more expectations, and furthermore, you don't have the experience if you haven't been doing what it is you're doing for a long time. Going back to the musical example, there's a band that I like called Orange Goblin. They have been fairly underground for a long time, and watching them on the sidelines slowly but steadily grow, you know there's more to that than something that blows up suddenly and then you never hear of them again. And it also with things like this, where getting big in a public sense, it can affect your mindset or your mental health even. So I think I'm actually, although I would not consider myself a YouTuber, I'm glad that that the way this podcast is going is that I am not looking for massive views, and I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And sure, maybe this will grow in an extremely slow way, but that's fine. That's not the point.
That's the other thing too, is like when you make YouTube videos, you're like doing YouTube as in videos. I feel like podcasting and videos are like kind of two separate sides of the same coin, because they are similar in a lot of the same ways, but they are also very different, because I feel like the healthiest way to look at a podcast is like just shooting the shit with your friends for an hour or whatever.
Pretty much.
That's what this is.
It's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
Shit from now.
You know, originally, another reason why I wanted this to happen was not so much that I want to have a famous podcast or whatever. No, I realized I hadn't had strong connections with people I've met online, and part of that is, you know, I always I'm just kind of lurking, and, you know, I'll text stuff, but I don't actually get the benefit of enjoying conversations, and part of that is for time.
Oh, yeah.
But this allows me to actually make time for it, and it's always worth it, regardless of, you know, whatever the view count is, you know, whether or not this gets uploaded or not, that sort of thing.
And especially if you are on a time crunch too, that's the other thing too, is if you rely on this. If you rely on this as like as a way to socialize, it's good that you're setting aside time for this, because it does give you that opportunity to socialize with whoever it is you want to talk to online, and especially in a public sense too.
Also,
because that's one
and
thing
also
for
productive.
me.
Yeah, but
That's one thing for me. I never talked to Bev and Sol really outside of this, but I'd be down to. This is like the time I get to.
Yeah, and you know, it's you know, obviously I have a social life and whatever, but another thing about this is just that it, you know, about it with a time crunch. This is gonna sound weird, but I actually, this is a personal thing. I enjoy being stressed with too much to do more so than being bored. Absolutely, 100%.
And the reason why
not just that,
is because you're able to spend that time that you have more productively than if you were to have nothing on your plate.
Exactly. Yeah, no, 100%.
Time constraints and all that. They I do good under pressure, like not the opposite. That's why I'll sometimes put myself under assumed pressure just because it makes me perform better.
Yeah, and what I noticed for myself is that if I don't have a lot, for example, if let's go back to middle school for me. I didn't have that much homework in middle school. I started to get significantly less free time in high school. In any case, in middle school, there would be times where I don't have that much time to, or I think I don't have that much time to do stuff when I actually do. And because, I only have such and such assignments to finish. They take forever. I'm not very productive, and, you know, things take time. But I notice when I have a lot on my plate, it's actually easier for me to get more work done, and even, if you could say, in a sense, burden my workload even more, because this sounds crazy. It's the way I would describe it is, if I did not have this thing going on here right now, I would think, I would be able to have more time to get more stuff done, you know, if the Vermin Sermon didn't exist. But actually, I don't think so. I think, yes, I would have more time, but I wouldn't be as productive. The more things I do, I notice I can get more stuff done. You know, like, I feel like, I guess I think we can all relate to this in different ways of, you know, when you get a whole lot of work done and you just feel like a machine and you can keep going. And that's why this is really
it's like you're on a roll.
And it's all a mindset thing too. You can't and like, I'm a victim of this too, where I just like overwhelm myself and stress myself out more than I should. But like, it's all mindset thing. You have to tell yourself that you're gonna get these so and so objectives done by this time, and if you stick to that, you'll do it. If you're a pessimist when it comes to things like that, you're not gonna get it done because you're telling yourself that you're not gonna get it done. Yeah, it's all your mind. Your brain is actually a really powerful tool that you have 100% of the time. And when you're able to convince yourself that you can do things and you get those things done, it feeds into that whole the base mindset that you need to be a glass half full type of person instead of a pessimist.
Yeah, I think I can agree for sure.
I disagree. I'm not.
And do you know what's interesting about that, Niner? You say that about like if you'll get it done, like with this LA trip. Like I've said, I'm gonna get there by any fucking means necessary. Okay, I promised the boys, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy.
I think Saul. I think you were saying.
Yeah, I wanted to say after, like,
it's a different opinion. Let's go. This is interesting.
Yeah, it is a different. It's a kind of different opinion. So basically, you're saying you work better under pressure. I think that's kind of bullshit because sometimes when you work under pressure, you kind of creating more hassle for yourself, which means work quality is going to be could be slightly worse. You could probably get ill from it. You get more stress from it. And from what I've experienced, obviously in education, that and with the life stuff, it's better not to be under stress. But like, let's say you got some work to do by, let's say next week, but you tell yourself, I'm gonna put like an earlier deadline, so you finish it by time in the week, so you have time to chill, time to relax, as well as check your work. Especially like for something like a dissertation, like you might have it for, let's say, next Friday, but you want to get the end of it done by Monday or Tuesday, so you at least have a few days to check it over and see if you need to improve or add anything.
Actually, I think that adds into his point rather than subtracting. Because I think what that means is that you, by setting an earlier date, you're not necessarily putting yourself under pressure, but what you're doing is you're telling yourself, hey, I need to get this done, and I will get it done by this date instead of that date.
And
so it's a combination of both things.
That's what I do. I don't do like I don't do like for the buzzer beater.
Yeah.
I don't go for the like with me though, and
Depends, I guess.
and like I used to sleep like I got carried by just natural like academic talent, hard as fuck through high school. Like I would sleep in class and people were like, how the fuck did you get this mark? I'm like, I don't know. I learned quick, I guess. But with design, there's not really, and Sol could probably attribute this at this point, since there's no like really specific directed way to do something, it requires a lot more thought, which I don't particularly mind really. I can't enjoy it. It's not just me drooling over like usual like set of like comprehension understanding tests. Easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do understand that what you brought up, Sol, and that is if you do have a lot of your on your plate, it does take away from the quality of whatever you do, whatever else you do have. Yeah. However, if you do, what I was gonna say to you before the podcast even started, Div, was it's all another thing that feeds into all of this is time management, and if you manage your time well, you will get all of what you need to have done with quality.
Time management is probably like the most important skill you can learn.
It's one of the most important skills.
Time fucking management.
Absolutely.
And that can be applied to every aspect in life.
Literally anything in life is time fucking management. Paying rent.
Because everyone has to deal with time. Like, bro, I'm pretty shitty with managing my time, and I wouldn't say that's why I upload so little, because it does take me a while to make each video. However, like I'm pretty sure any of you guys could relate to this. It's a matter of me finding the motivation to start, because once I start, I get the ball rolling, and once I get the ball rolling, then I can't like get off of what I'm doing. So like, if I'm in bed and like, you know, I'm just like, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm in my bed on my phone for like, for example, an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is like really easy for me just because I go down like wormholes and shit, and I just like, I'm just looking up random shit at that point.
I do insane wormholes.
I realized that I could have spent that time more productively, because I could get up in the morning and tell myself that I want to edit, which is true. And it's just a matter of me getting up out of my bed and starting, because with me, I love editing. That's probably my favorite part of the whole video creating process. However, it's just a matter of me starting, and I'm so shitty with just like getting up and finding the motivation to start. But once I'm like 10 minutes in, I will be sitting in front of my computer screen for 4 or 5 hours straight and lose track of time.
Dang. Yeah. No, I agree. And I think a lot of it has to do with forming good habits. Once you have a good habit of starting, then you won't even think about it. You just automatically go, okay, I have free time, I need to be working on stuff. And I've started to get more so into that mindset starting college. Now, I did not have very much time in high school, but I've gotten better with time. I think I've gotten better with time management in college. But no, I agree. It's extremely helpful. And you see, there are some of my friends online, and I'm not blasting them or like their education system or whatever, but you know, I see them on Discord. They're constantly talking, constantly like playing games or whatever. I was like, hey, you know, in a friendly sense, I was like, you know, don't you guys have homework and stuff? And then they all unanimously said, oh, well, actually, no. For my school, we actually don't get any assigned homework, you know, and I understand this is gonna I'm not so sure about you guys, but I know for a lot of other people, this is going to be an insanely unpopular opinion. I think having homework and stuff to do is a very, very good thing because you need to learn at an early age, not to overwork yourself, but to manage time well.
Know your limit, essentially.
Yeah, and one thing in high school, so this was, I would say, about entry into senior year, the whole way, you know, I've made it through whatever, but doing well and whatnot. I'm always, you know, at a crunch for time, and then, you know, I came to the point where I needed to use my abilities more efficiently rather than just working hard. So I would work on an assignment. It takes an extremely long amount of time. Obviously, you get fatigued, and for each person, it's different. And so then what I started doing is I started writing schedules for every hour and 15 minutes or whatever. And so I would work for an hour, you know, do something for 15 minutes, come back to it in a cycle, and I'd write all that out. And I noticed I was able to get more free time out of that and more work done out of that.
Yeah,
and it's all time management.
If anything, it's all efficiency. It's all efficiency.
Yeah,
it's all it's all
got to be sufficient as humanly possible.
But also, I feel like it. With that being said, at a young age, it does teach you the fulfillment out of being productive. Because, bro, when I actually had more fucking homework in middle school than I did high school. High school, I did my homework the day of. I'd sit at lunch and do it. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not doing anything. I might as well fucking do it. I don't want to do this dog shit at home. I would make
that's why I'm always active on Discord, especially back in high school and everything.
I would be at home, and I'd be making my videos. I'd be making my videos at home, like during, I'll just use junior year of high school, for example. Mm-hmm. I would be at home making my videos, and then I'd go to bed at like fucking 2 a.m. because I'd like stay up, play some video games, jerk off, and go to bed. So like, I would wake up. I'd wake up in the morning, and like if I had like a little more homework than usual, and by that I mean like more than half an hour's worth of homework, because I got like almost no homework in fucking high school. I would do it before I go to school. And then I'd go to school, turn that homework in that I did the morning of. And then during my brunch break, I would do the homework that was due in the remaining periods. And if I didn't get all of it done, I would do more at lunch. And like, I just had way too much time at school to do homework the day of, to the point where I'd come home and just like do whatever. And like, I've been making videos since like I was 11 and I'm fucking 20 now. So like,
yeah, that's the crazy thing. You're being an OG in the community.
I've been making videos since 2010, 2011. So like on my YouTube channel it says I think it has 752 uploads. And before I realized, I educated myself on the whole copyright thing. I thought copyright claims were strikes, so I deleted like 300 videos off my channel. But luckily they were just piece of shit videos. And like all of the videos. And when I'm saying that, I'm like literally those videos I don't really give a shit about, because what I did was back in like early times, before I even like edited my shit in Windows Movie Maker, and I would straight up just record raw gameplay with the fucking bandicam.com watermark at the top. I would literally sit there, right? And like my most popular video on the channel, which is it's from 2012. It's called Need for Speed World Pursuit to 1 million in-game cash. What I did was I muted everyone in my group chat in Need for Speed World. I pressed start record, right? And right as soon as I did that, I very quickly alt tab. I already had a video preloaded onto YouTube, and it was the Need for Speed Most Wanted soundtrack or pursuit score. I'd play alt tab back into the game and then play with the fucking Most Wanted pursuit score.
Oh my gosh!
Like it was so funny. I think about like end of 2012. I started really editing it, which is crazy. Like I started like really paying attention to editing early on. And I would shit you not. Nowadays I probably sit in Premiere for about 7 to 9 hours on average. Back then, when I was 12 years old, I understood the ins and outs of Windows Movie Maker, and I was able to sit there and edit for, like, I shit you not, an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. And the only reason why it took me so long is if you look at those old Need for Speed World car review videos, I have captions literally every 5 seconds I would type out. Because obviously I was like a little insecure, little 11, 12-year-old boy, and I wouldn't want to use my voice. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's
you being grinder, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't expect anything out of it. Like, bro, yesterday was the first video in 4 fucking months where the YouTube algorithm decided not to work for me. And like my videos right now are normally getting about 1,000 views per video. The one yesterday is 10th place out of the last 10 videos in terms of views by 300 fucking views. My ninth video, my ninth place video in my last 10 has 600, and mine yesterday I think has like 400 or whatever, which isn't bad. I'm not complaining. However, that feeds into me talking about, like, I honestly don't really give a fuck about blowing up at all. I make the type of videos that I want, and like I upload like once every 3 to 6 days or whatever, and I have a blast doing it every single video. I thought yesterday's video, like, I don't really care about the views. However, I do think it was, like, personally one of my favorites that I've uploaded. And like, if I'm not trying to take shots at anyone because it's just like the way I function with videos.
Ooh.
However, like,
let's go.
Okay, go on. So you're taking shots. So you're taking shots. I think you can say that. Taking shots.
If I just sat there and I had like my face cam going and like I were just to record audio and just record myself playing Need for Speed Heat for like 20 minutes straight and make like a few cuts here and there, and it takes me about, like, 15 minutes to edit. Yeah, like I'm sitting there taking more time syncing up the audio than I am actually editing the video. If I did that and like uploaded 20-minute videos 3 times a day, I guarantee you by now I'd be at like fucking 20,000 subscribers. But I don't think that way, just because I want to be known for the type of videos,
the content that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be known for the type of videos I make, not what game I'm playing and what people want to see. I don't make shit that people want to see. I make shit that I want to see personally. So yeah, I could give a shit about uploading 20-minute long fucking videos 3 times a day. And if in a separate universe myself told me hey, do fucking 3 videos a day that are like 10 to 20 minutes long, almost unedited, and you'd be at 50,000 subscribers like me right now. Like, if that was me in another universe, I'd tell him to go fuck himself, because
I'll say you're a fucking loser. You're fucking loser.
You don't want to sell yourself out, man. You don't want to end up like certain people.
Not even that. The way you said that, it's like you literally sold yourself out. That's not even just a sell out. Like, that's beyond that. What the fuck? That's crazy.
And
because I do enjoy the videos I make right now. That honestly was it. I kind of interrupted you, Div. I'm sorry. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit, Div.
I know. Honestly, I've been interjecting a lot, and I gotta work on that. I keep on like. Anyways, let's keep going. So actually, I wanted to say, and furthermore, if the whole point of being a YouTuber is that you want it to be your job because you enjoy doing it, rather than you want to do it just because, oh, it's cool, look at me, I'm a YouTuber, I'm famous, whatever, right?
Cool, look at me!
The idea is that you want to have a job that you genuinely enjoy, right? And so if you're not enjoying it, then that takes any purpose of being a YouTuber at all. I'm in school for engineering because I want to be an engineer. Not... I want to, make money or whatever. Money's pretty cool, but
if I wanted to take money, I would have gone to med school. Because I had entry. I had entry to med school.
At this point,
I enjoy design.
The end goal for me is obviously I do it as a living because I do love it. However, like, I can't help but feel bad for people who like Cam. He's been making amazing videos recently, but I feel so bad for him because, for me anyway, the YouTube algorithm is in my favor to the point where the YouTube algorithm knows that I upload once every 3 to 6 days or whatever. So it will push my videos regardless of how long it is, sorry, how long between uploads. With Cam, since the YouTube algorithm is used to him uploading every day, if he misses like an upload one day, he'll feel the pain of missing that day, whatever video he uploads next. And like, it just sucks because I see like how much fucking effort Cam puts in. Like he pretty much spends like almost every waking moment of his day thinking about YouTube videos and like pumping him out. And like I find it crazy how much effort he could put into one video when he does the shit basically fucking daily.
Yeah.
And you don't
I
see
can
many other
fucking do
people
that.
do that
I can do
kind of video to that quality. It's people to just literally pump out shit and just ends up like, well, basic bit stuff that only like little kids watch and stuff, which unfortunately
Yeah.
like does over the small creators. But that's just YouTube being YouTube. And also think of if you do YouTube as something you want to do for money, it's not going to go anywhere because you're not going to like it, you're not going to enjoy it, and you're going to get burnt out. There are loads of YouTubers who are like that, who are either depressed to do stuff because the parents tell them to do, or just for the money.
Like I
And
said, bro,
most of them-
it's a mindset thing. If you want to do it to make money, there's plenty of other things they could do to make way more money, way easier and faster. Like
Yeah, I was about to say, like, and if you want to go into the
just get a
illegal
job,
shit,
bro.
you get
Honestly,
away
just get a job.
Oh, I don't think everyone heard that, but well, let's just move on.
Bro, I don't get how that's
we
my
out here
fault.
trapping.
Okay, I was gonna say something. It completely escaped
What
my
the
mind.
fuck? My niece is insane.
What was I gonna say?
Oh shit.
I'm blanking. I'm blanking right now.
It will come back to you. Let me massage your brain. More. It's coming back, isn't it? It's coming back.
No, it's not.
Let me massage your brain.
This man.
Let me do surgery.
Honestly, what we're talking about though is just people who rely on YouTube as like, I want money out of this because
Oh,
it looks.
I remember now.
Okay.
Okay, so this is
Go
going to
for
be
it.
a stupid comparison, and I expect everyone to laugh at me, and that's okay. That's cool. You know what? Having a job that makes you, that's not very fulfilling, and you have a lot of money, you know what that probably feels like? You know, imagine
Bro, what the
life is like Forza Horizon 4. You have all this money, so many cars, but nothing to do with it at all, and you're bored and depressed. I bet
Being a doctor would be like that as well, because like you have to work long shifts and all that. And
Yeah.
people
Yeah, and I talked to some of the like through my mom, like a lot of doctors, and they're like, bro, like you can get like phoned in at any time.
Yeah.
Like
and you
you're
work
always
like
on
24-hour
call.
shifts.
And of course,
Yeah,
there
like
are-
yeah, you can legitimately get that.
Yeah, because
like,
bro,
oof.
imagine going to bed, like you're chilling at home with your wife, you're watching some Family Feud on television, go to bed, and you wake
You
up
beat
at
your
4
wife, have
a.m.
a real family
Yeah,
feud.
you give your wife a little beating. You say, "How dare you, Meredith? You fucking you burnt your wife's dinner." And then you go to
We
bed.
at
Right?
the
Vermin
Vermin
You
Sermon do
know,
not condone
you
domestic
fucking-
violence.
You wake up at 4 a.m.
Nah,
you get a call-
100%
you get a
not.
call from your boss. You get a call from your boss at 4 a.m. and he goes,
It's all
"Sir,
jokes.
someone has an elapsed anus. You need to work on this now." And then
What?
I
What
have to
is
go to the
happening?
fucking hosp- What? I'm telling you.
What? An elapsed
I'm-
anus? What, the prolapse gang?
Are you
Yeah,
speaking from experience, Richard?
No, I'm
Nah,
speaking
he's trying to
from.
get there though.
I'm
That's gonna
speaking
be LA.
I'm speaking from the perspective of that doctor who hates his fucking job.
Yeah.
He-
It
because-
sounds
think-
like he
think
hates
about
his
it.
wife more.
He does hate his wife, but he also hates the fact that he had to wake up at 4 a.m. to work on a prolapsed anus.
That's like what you do.
That would be
that.
dog shit. Imagine that. Holy shit, bro. You go like, you say do 4 or 5 years med school and the postgrad to work on like
Prolapsed anus, bro. That
time to
sucks.
shove 20-inch horse dildos on their ass. Oh, yeah, look at your
Okay.
job, bro. How much you getting
Alright.
paid?
Imagine how the doctor felt. I forgot his name from Jackass, the guy who shoved the Matchbox car in a condom up his butthole.
I can't
ooh.
remember.
No, I know how that doctor felt. He was like, what? Like, this is
He's
my
like, yeah,
job,
bro, I
right?
ate it.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I ate it. Okay.
No, he definitely shoved it
Okay.
up his butthole.
You would have to deal with
Alright,
so much
can
vermin.
Can we not? Well, you know, it is the Vermin Sermon after all, so you know, nothing here is
True.
We'd
It's not
be
a
doing the
custom.
name a disjustice if we weren't talking about this
very
right now.
true.
Hell yeah.
Very
Fuck that.
true.
That's like such a terrifying scenario, though. Oh my god. I'd be like, oh, I'm sick. Can't work. You have to work on me.
Oh my gosh. All right. I think we should switch gears a little bit here. There's been some news about. I just want to talk about pretty briefly Dangerous Driving 2. I have an opinion on this, and I think I want to go after some of you guys because I don't know, might be a hot take. I want to see what
My
you
Angus
guys
is
think
peppered.
first.
My Angus is peppered. Go for it.
All right. So I think indie studios are at their best when they're developing something they know they can handle, when they aren't too ambitious. And that's why some of my favorite indie games are games with retro styling. It's a way to make the game look aesthetically pleasing, although maybe not graphically impressive, but easy to work with and make, so that the rest of you can focus on making the rest of the game amazing. When you have 3D
You can focus
rendered,
on content.
yeah, and with 3D rendered graphics, that doesn't mean that a game's going to be bad. An indie game's going to be bad, or that the development time isn't spent wisely. But I think with a studio of a limited number of people, you have to be very careful with what you're making, right? That's why I think the original Danger Zone was a great game for what it was.
I love that game.
They could spend the time, because all it was crash mode, but that's genius as an indie game. Now you can spend your time and your resources making a perfect gameplay experience. Dangerous Driving, on the other hand, it's just, I want to love it, but I just can't. The physics are wonky, the areas are bland and forgettable. There's no soundtrack, which is a minor nitpick, not that important. Again,
It does add atmosphere, though.
Yeah,
Like,
it
does go a long way.
No, not even
all
like a
cars having the same
soundtrack,
sound, I
like
think.
original soundtrack, like things they make just for, like menu or whatever. Like it does add.
Yeah.
Like I always talk about this with Charlie, Midnight Club 2's menu theme. Such a great fucking that sets such a theme. Yeah, the fucking dark sense, it sets such a theme from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I
but
said,
you're
like, and
just
what
biased.
people said.
Stelio, you're just biased because you played Moses in the game.
No, that was Charlie. No, what about that old Snapchat where it was up? It's Moses.
Oh, man.
No, I'm Hector. Oh no, you're Hector because you hang with those ones.
Yeah, those ones.
Okay. All right. Anyways, back to
shout out my boys.
back to Danger Zone. No, Dangerous Driving 2.
Dangerous Driving.
They're planning on making an open world racing game. An indie studio of only a few people who have not shown themselves to have mastered a linear racing game are going to make an open world racing game. I don't think that's a good sign. However, I don't actually know yet.
Super
We'll
Street
see.
comes to mind.
Yeah, it kind of does, but that even had
Yeah.
more development power and everything, I think. Who knows what's going to happen. I think just basically it would be wise to not pre-order, but wait until we see stuff. However, that being said, it coming on Switch, if you look at it as a portable game, that's probably an easier sell.
Yeah, because it would be a AAA game as far as portable console or
And
just
then
any portable
also-
handheld would go.
I
Sorry
do
to
think it's a
interrupt
good
you, though.
idea. However, the execution of it, I'm just waiting for the execution of what they do with an open world map and what they have in the game as far as gameplay.
Execution is literally like
It's everything.
That is everything. Like it doesn't
That is
matter how
everything.
good your concept is, how good your ideas are, how well do you implement
Okay.
them.
It's bringing those to
Disagree.
life.
Hard disagree.
Yeah.
Hard disagree there. I
Really?
think a game's vision is extremely important. You can have really good execution, and I could go on about this for hours, but one of the reasons I really, really have a distaste for Forza Horizon 4 is because I can absolutely appreciate that it is a good functioning game. It doesn't have game breaking bugs. It doesn't have glitches.
Mhm.
It's a well-made product, and
Clipping.
as I would call it a really well-made tech demo. But with the lack of story, atmosphere, and other things, and there are so many actual examples and things you can use to reference for things. There's loads of reasons as to why I think Horizon 1 is better as a game. I guess you could say perhaps objectively execution is important, but
Oh no, I was about to get into that.
Enjoyment
it's
in a game.
I was about to get into it. It's a yin yang setting where you can't have for a good game you can't have one without the other. Like you need
Yes.
you need vision and execution. It's like
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter if you execute. If there's no
Thank
vision, execution doesn't matter. But if there's no execution, vision doesn't matter. You need both. Like, you need to balance both.
I think execution is extremely important for a product to work well, but for it to be a good experience, I think vision is extremely important. I can cite Need for Speed 2015,
100%.
while a game which was executed very poorly. I can't even describe to you how much I enjoyed that game. And I understand that enjoyment is a subjective thing. But, honestly, I could go so deep into this, talking about rationalism and, what is it called? Romanticism.
Yeah, romanticism.
And
I was going to say, rose-tinted glasses. Yeah, I know that shit.
Both of them suffer from this idea that it either has to be pure logic and reasoning or pure emotion, and not a combination of both, right? Yeah, that is the ideal situation. I remember, other people would consider me, I guess, to lean more towards the rational side, or at least I would hope so. That doesn't make it any better than someone. Well, okay, I'm biased. Yeah. I'm biased and would say it does, but I think it's not so much better than someone who leans more on the romantic side in terms of feelings, not rather than thoughts and principles. But as human beings, right? We're supposed to have both. And I could. This is a really weird and off comparison, but I think I could tie it to games being really needing both vision and execution. How player feels is important.
I think what me and Steeler are trying to say is like vision. Vision comes before execution. It's executing that vision that you have is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, these are sequence
because they're both really vital things, because you can't execute anything that you don't have a vision for, and if you have that vision and you map it all out and then you execute it well, that's
I have a great example of this. I have a great example. My first year of fucking design, I made this really nice poster, right? But my vision couldn't be executed because the riser graph wasn't that good, so I had to dial it down. Man. And guess what? That's what some studios have to learn to do. Just dial it down if you can't do it. Don't go for what you want if it's going to suffer because of it. My shit would have looked immense if I did my original design. It would have looked like dog shit.
I've got a perfect example as well in gaming thing, but it's not Super Street or Need for Speed. You know, like when Anthem came out, like when we first I talked about it last week, but I want to go about it again. Like when I saw the E3 2017 thing, it looked fucking sick. Like the world was alive. Everything looked 100% better than whatever was out. The world looked immersive. You could do loads of things up in the background, like that massive machine things exploding. The enemies really crazy and all that. But then, like when the game came out, it all fell apart. And during the expose, they found that they have a long development, which is 5 years. But because they kept on restarting the ideas and going back to the drawing board, it just got lost throughout its development and never really became anything solid, which kind of led to the game fucking up because no vision, and therefore it couldn't really do anything, and it became like a smorgasbord of crap. Which
smorgasbord of crap? Is this the evolution of another shit?
Another classic soul.
Smorgasbord.
But in this case, I think they're trying to improve it.
It's a bungalow of bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Like they're trying to improve it with an Anthem update, which is coming out this year, which apparently is going to redo the whole game. But once, yeah, but which just shows that it needed the whole reset, and it just shows if the creative process is fucked, you can't do anything about it, and you have to start from scratch. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's look really bad.
Yeah, and again with Dangerous Driving 2. I don't know where it's gonna go, and there are plenty of examples in the past. You know, our first episode was about, you know, some of the great games of the decade, but we have plenty of examples where, you know, it could go wrong in a lot of ways.
You know how people say the future is now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what about when we said the episode Future Ghost Games, and then when we hear that news, the future is now, baby!
Like almost immediately after.
Literally like an episode later. It was insane.
Something like that. Can't remember if it was 1 or 2.
We cursed them. We put the bad juju.
If the Simpsons fucking predicted Trump being president, you guys fucking predicted Criterion taking over for Ghost Games with Ghost Games leaving. That's crazy.
Crazy prediction. Like,
I wish.
Just saying that, just fucking flat. That's crazy prediction to say. But yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's crazy that you guys are on Simpsons level type fucking predicting shit.
Okay, what else do we want to predict?
Cops and racers, baby! That's what's gonna happen!
No, don't make that prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't.
That is
Don't jinx it.
Oh yeah. Me, I just don't give a shit. Just give me a game.
No, me neither.
Please.
Give me a good game. Give me a game I can play for longer than fucking 100 hours. And we're chilling.
Bro, please, I'm on my knees. I didn't even play Heat for 100 hours. I think I got
I played that more than 2015. I forgot 150 hours to say. 2015 out of 30 hours.
Can I check?
I'm nearly 100%
2015.
in the dungeon.
2015, I had fucking 500 hours on Xbox and 200 on PC. I put a lot of hours into that game.
I had to about 2015 to make.
How many hours do you think I was? Niner.
Probably 1,000, close to 1,000.
I was like 1.5k deep.
Oh fuck!
Oh.
I literally did nothing for like 7 months, but play that fucking game. Like people ask why you're so
peak
good.
Performance, bro.
Peak performance, yeah.
It was
attack?
you, me versus Cam. It was us three.
And I remember other people started joining. I'm like, hey, we can get something here. Get the community on post.
Like, bro, I like we started like doing like. Okay, we got 30 seconds on peak performance, and then like I think one of us got like 29. I think I may have gotten like 29.7, and Cam follows that up like a day after. Cam follows that up a day after with like 29.4 seconds, and then after like a week or so, Stelio just like stumped all of us and got like 26 seconds. I'm like, okay, that's unbeatable.
Yeah, because I got.
Oh yeah, it was the weird what car? The Datsun, I think.
Yeah, I always use the 240Z because.
You used the Datsun? I thought you used the RSR the entire time. Me and Cam were using the fucking RSR.
I changed.
The
I was like, fuck no, boy. I'm
bro, I
trash.
never knew that. I may go back on sometime soon and
That
fucking
car's
try and beat that shit.
ridiculous. And the reason why is because the way those... And here's the thing, like I said, like, you just have to, like, the physics are so janky, so there's so much weird room for, like, these builds. The 240Z with what I use...
It feels like it's on ice, but it works perfect.
No, it drives on ice, but what it means is that there's literally no friction when you corner. You don't lose speed. It's fucking stupid. I'm doing 300 taking a right-handed corners. Like, how's this working? Like, the RSR has the best top speed, so it's the best for any highway, but anything...
and it also has insane acceleration.
Oh, yeah, because they literally found out it has better stats than every other car. Like, the values are just high.
Yeah. Man, I'm also max attack and then all the other ones. And then now with Heat, Bird's Eye, I've given up on that.
I haven't... My thing is, the thing is, I want to, but...
For anyone who doesn't know, Niner...
Like, I might get back on.
He sort of challenged us to beat his drift score on Bird's Eye. And then I eventually beat it after basically unlearning how I drift and then relearning a new strategy for drifting.
Yeah.
And then after he beat it again, I just can't. Nope. I just don't have it.
It was funny because like there was one night where me and Stelio were in a call. It was like 4 a.m. for me. And I was playing Need for Speed Heat. It was like I'd say Stelio, 3 or 4 days after the game came out on EA Access. Yeah. I was sitting there. And I remember building that Evo 8, and I was like, man, this feels like such a good drift car. But I didn't really know the drift mechanics at that point. So like I thought it was the best drift car in the game, but it just understeers everywhere.
Yeah, and then it's funny.
Then we found out the 350 was a thing. Yeah, the 350 was a thing. And we did that.
Do you know what's funny
about
the time?
All right, motherfuckers, try to beat my fucking score. And I put it in Cam's Discord.
No, do you know what's funny about that? I remember... everyone was going for your time. I got the game in like 3 days. I was like, oh, I bet it.
Yeah. You're not a human being, Stelio, so that doesn't count. I don't know what planet
you can chalk it up to that. Oh, yeah.
Stelio's from planet fucking Zorgon. He's Zorgonian.
New Zorgon land.
Yeah.
True. No, but it was. I had to like once again in a way because. From 2015, brain like just learn how to drift again or whatever. And after a while, I was like, oh, why the fuck do you use off-road tires? These things go crazy.
It's having the realization that in a sense, Need for Speed Heat. The reason why I appreciate their drift physics so much. I mean, yes, they're garbage, but the reason why I do appreciate them is it actually if you taken real life experiences that you have
Yeah,
drifting, that's not me, bro. I don't fucking do any illegal things.
I do illegal things.
When you do realize that the throttle control will kick out your angle a lot more, it kind of brings in that aspect of realism into Heat. Obviously, the drift physics are far from realistic, but when you take in real life traits into the game, it will actually help you.
I would say not really traits. It's more like the core idea of how the drift is supposed to work. But the thing is, the physics it makes it interesting. Like cars don't turn like that. Great, if cars turn like that, that'd be crazy.
I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing with
would be live.
You can't like it's the whole thing with 2015 where like of
transition is janky as fuck.
That's also very unrealistic. However, it brings in the aspect of Scandinavian flicking, because remember how you just like flip flap the fucking analog stick over and the other way and it will turn you into a drift. That's another thing from real life translated into Need for Speed, where it's like fucking Scandi flicking doesn't work.
About that? You know why that's funny? Because remember, Scandinavian flicker, but that's a rally thing, not a drift technique. Yeah, we use rally tires. We don't use the road tires. So it makes fucking sense.
Yeah.
The game, baby!
You know, one thing about 2015 and its handling model is disgusting.
Remember the R35 on 2015?
What about it?
Remember the R35 on fucking 2015? Literally the worst car by a million miles. Yeah, holy shit! Whoever coded that, bro.
And it's don't know what's wrong with pretty bad.
Yeah, but it's not like literally unusable. It was horrible in 2015.
Oh,
no, the hot rod was the worst. The fucking hot rod was the worst because you would go into a drift and like you won't accelerate. Yeah, it would accelerate for you. You don't even like you could have like your
traction control.
Dude, you could have your index finger off of like the fucking throttle, and it will continue accelerating for 5 seconds. And by the end of you fucking experiencing that like acceleration that the game does for you, you're either at 160 miles per hour or in a fucking wall and you see a crash cam.
Yeah, I actually have a video on my channel. It's an older one, not edited very much. Shout out. Where I used that hot rod, and what you did was you started a drift, and then basically you drifted into the side of a guardrail, but while also moving in a circular pattern, and so that builds up momentum in the game for whatever reason. Yeah. And then you let go, and then it just slingshots you ahead, not touching the throttle at all, to like 300 plus or something ridiculous.
Now,
like
whoever fucking coded that car needs a death sentence.
Okay, maybe not. But I wanted to go back to
maybe waterboarding.
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe,
I wanted to go back to 2015 and its handling model because it was so awful. It kind of forced you to experiment with different things and kind of learn what each different slider did. And so one thing I learned years after the game came out, I think early 2018 or something like that, just randomly going back on it, I discovered that having, high downforce and really drifty rear tire pressure, I don't remember because the game probably does it inaccurately with that. I just found that to be extremely helpful, and it's crazy that years after a game's release, I'm still learning new stuff.
I remember why you. A fun fact. That's what I used to put on my cars because that shit was brutal. Like I found, because I remember it was me and that guy off Reddit. This was also the same sesh that we found the Huracan, so you can fight me in my mentions if you fucking hate that car. We were trying out a bunch of different cars with different weird things, and we found out one, for some reason, like, you can just cheat the way a high downforce works, because it's not how it works on that game. Once again, somehow things, like, are good because they don't work that way. Like, that's a lot of what their game is.
Yeah.
Like, this thing shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, there's so many layers to the just like learning that game and like everything in it. That's why like the other day, when me and Theo were having our fucking conversation on Twitter about the whole Need for Speed Heat is perfect as a base game. Yeah, Need for Speed 2015. Yeah, I know. Need for Speed 2015.
Fucking rapist. Let me say that.
Okay, no, let's not.
Need for Speed 2015 at a as a base, Need for Speed 2015 was again a very good vision for the base game. However, since there were so many layers of that game, it exaggerated everything at the base level. Because like there's a lot to learn in fucking 2015 that there just isn't in Heat. Like Heat doesn't have multiple layers to the fucking game. It's just a base game and that's it. It's
do you know what it reminded me of? Remember with Modern Warfare 2, they'll be like, what's the OP weapons? Literally all of them are. Every single weapon in Modern Warfare 2, the original one, was OP. Like, noob tube, yeah, but if you're insane with the sniper, you just level people. All the SMGs were broken. All the ARs, especially the ACR, was broken. Like, that was the thing of, like, you know how I say, oh, just make no cars OP or make all of them. Yeah, that was all of them was OP in fucking MW2. All of them were
I'm curious to hear you guys' opinion on this, and that is
it nullifies it if anything.
In Need for Speed, obviously, like I'll just use Heat as an example because that's more relevant than any other Need for Speed game right now. However, if say the RSR and the 4GT and the Wyra are all OP, right? What's your guys' opinion on that? So would you rather have those 3 cars or 4 cars or whatever nerfed, or would you rather have everything be OP, like just balance out everything?
No, the thing is everything. Just make everything OP because it cancels out the idea of OP.
Yes, and here's the thing: there are so
cars
many.
OP. That car's OP.
It's not.
It's
that,
like
okay.
Why not just rebalance all the cars? Wouldn't that be easier? I mean, better overall.
It would be a lot easier just to nerf them. However, I think the idea of making everything OP would be fucking hilarious.
Yes, it would.
But
I wanted to talk about something. With Heat, it's not only just, okay, the RSR is extremely fast. You pit an F40 against an R35, right? And you pit Wyra against, some other car. There are kind of, it's like multiple tiers of how good cars are, right? Like you could have a tier list. Because of how wide the separation is, a lot of balancing has to be done. You can't just nerf a few cars anymore. Because once you do that,
and not just that, right?
You nerf a few cars, but then those cars are still significantly better than the other cars at the
That's
bottom
what I
of the
mean.
barrel.
If the balance
not just that, right? Because I used to play League of Legends a lot. Here's the problem: if you do a balance and you kind of fuck it up, all of a sudden these other cars are OP and this one's a hunk of dog shit. Like once again, it's balance because you can easily fuck up. Like
one thing I've been asking for. One thing I've been asking for pre-payback, like this is dating all the way back to 2016, 2017. One thing I asked for out of the balancing of cars in Need for Speed games, and obviously like Ghost doesn't listen very well. However, I asked for
listening to shit now.
Kind of like I know. I kind of asked for like a Carbon-esque way of OP cars, because if you guys remember in Carbon, exotic cars obviously had the best top speed. Fucking muscle cars had the best acceleration, and tuner cars had the best hand. And if you take all of those into consideration, you can. There is a couple of OP cars like the Evo or the Super.
Yes.
Was it the?
Why does the Evo do that with a money shift? Like it makes a hairpin turn in half a second. It's fucked.
Yeah, it's nuts. But like the general idea of that game's balancing, I really appreciate that game's balancing.
It's classes very
well. You could say that's kind of realistic in some ways, isn't it? As well. Ish.
I mean, it tried to do the whole, supercars have high top speed, muscle cars
and not just that, it's an analogy of like weight classes as well.
Yeah,
like,
okay, but
you're not gonna put the fucking lightweight against the
I wanted to talk about something. So, there are clear, I guess, balancing things with Need for Speed Carbon, but here's the thing. I always notice there's always a different opinion of what they think the best car is, and because of that, that means that there is fairly decent balancing, because you have different people thinking different things about it. I would also agree the Evo, but it's still, there are still other opinions and stuff, which means it's not like very obviously the RSR. But furthermore, Need for Speed Carbon, it's pretty interesting. I wanted to test and see things for myself with like the best handling, suspension, and tire setup and everything. And I coded it up, or I wrote it all down. I would need to have tested 144 runs of 3 laps of different cars and whatever, which would have taken forever. And I decided against that. But there are a few like really weird but interesting little kinks with the system with Need for Speed Carbon. So in the PC version, it kind of uses the same physics as the 6th generation consoles. which is different from 7th gen. So I can't say much for that. I do have a PS3 and a PS3 copy of Need for Speed Carbon, but my copy's busted. I can't test it, so yada yada yada. Whatever. Cars do feel different across them. But there are certain things with certain cars, like for example, if you're in an exotic car, I think you set your and on the PC version, you set handling suspension to understeer, which will actually cause the opposite effect, but not oversteer, but you'll turn in quite a bit. And there's a certain tire setting.
Is it because is it because you're understeering and you're applying more throttle to the point where it kicks you out, or
I genuinely think they flipped it by accident. You set it to oversteer and it barely turns at all. For specifically exotics. Muscle cars, there's a lot of experimentation to be done. I used to always go max oversteer with grip tires so that you turn in a lot and then grip to it. But grip setting tires are extremely weird and buggy, and they kind of like your car will slide and then suddenly grip up, and that can cause you to flip over, whatever, etc. But like tuner cars, the best setup, at least from what I've found personally, 6th gen consoles / PC, is stock tires and stock suspension. As soon as you put different tires on it, it doesn't matter what tuning setting, according to what I've tested so far, it'll be significant. You'll be faster with a tuner car, no tires, no whatever, right? But I'm talking about all of these things because they show that there's so much experimentation to be done. There's so much you can do to find, and it really means that there is like a good setup for each car. And I appreciate that in Need for Speed Heat, there is a little bit of fumbling around you can do with your differential, your tires, your suspension. I like that. I honestly like that in some cases you might want to run pro suspension, because it would be boring if every car was the fastest in the same setup, right?
Yeah.
So that is one positive. That's why
the only thing about Heat that has layers to it is the performance customization.
That's what I like about F1 games. You can't just tune each team's car the same. They all have different characteristics.
But I don't like how in Heat the superchargers are almost useless. I would really hope
I have found a couple of cars. I have found a couple of cars that are.
Do you know what car is actually quite good with the root supercharger?
I
use the root supercharger.
That's the only one I'll ever use. If I use the supercharger.
Yeah, I use it on the 350.
Really, you use that on the 350?
Yeah.
Just
because mainly my thought process was it's the way that when you corner in that game, and essentially if you're throttling, you're not at you're the full like RPM gauges. I'm just trying to get the most boost that I can.
No, I always end up using my fucking my
bang limiter.
My twin Warsaw war whistles. I always use the fucking twin
whistles, the engine snails.
Yeah, the snails. I always go twin snails. I go twin snail mode.
Snails. Yep.
Of course.
I love that. That's a local term here. The snails.
I was going to ask, in Most Wanted 2005, is the upgrade system like where every car can be OP once you max it out? Like you can get the Fiat Punto to go.
Kind of, sort of, with Junkman parts.
Oh my
God. I actually don't know. That's the thing. I haven't tested enough. With Junkman parts, you can get every car to a really fast, but there are some very clear wow, this car is terrible. But it's a
there's some clear.
I think I don't know.
If anything, it's not like it's a full tier list. It's like these ones are shit and these ones use.
Yeah.
So in a Need for Speed game, what would your ideal situation in terms of cars like being OP would be?
Here's the thing.
If anything, I'd want cars. If anything, like with the categories of cars, where they have something over the others, because it reminds me of back in '80s, the first turbo era of F1, where the cars with non-turbo engines, sure they weren't as fast, but it was essentially like a given that a turbo car would never win Monaco. Like they would never win at tight circuits.
Sorry, I already said what I would want is just be a carbon type system where it's OP in certain aspects, either OP in handling, OP in acceleration, or OP in top speed.
Here's the thing though, with top speed, exotics are almost useless in carbon because the top speeds are so ridiculous if you tune them for that. That you in a Murcielago, I'm guaranteeing you will never hit 360 miles per hour, which is the top speed, unless you do the out of map glitch. With transmission and engine tuned for max top speed. If you tune
you don't think you could do that down the highway? I mean, there's no races down the highway.
I used an infinite NOS cheat code because one exists on PC, and also Infinite Speed
Cheat
Breaker.
codes, I forgot about cheat codes.
Cheat codes are the good old days.
Yeah. Honestly, kind of missed them. But in any case, I did test
Same.
that. I did hit 316, but that was full nosing the whole way. With Carbon, it still is a little broken because a Corvette Z06. Extremely fast acceleration. I think the second fastest acceleration in the game. Not sure. You tune
Horribly
everything.
quick.
You tune
Yeah.
everything for top speed. It will still carry that acceleration like nothing else, but it will now have a top speed of 275 or 85 miles per hour if you're using manual trans. Because with manual transmission, you accelerate past the red line.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the how Carbon's physics work. The closest thing to it is I know fucking World's physics in and out just because I put like 10,000 hours easily into that fucking game over time.
Yeah.
So wait, so when you use NOS, I have a question.
Mhm.
Does it go do you have a higher top speed with NOS and then it goes back down after you use it, or like
I think
because
so.
I know in World it's like that, because when you use NOS in World,
Oh,
my
yeah.
914 has a top speed of 222, but without NOS it's 204 or whatever.
Okay, no. I think with the Corvette, I think it has so much. It just has so much torque and acceleration and everything. I think you'll like you
just
obviously
using
using
NOS.
NOS will help, but no, you can hit 285 or whatever, and if you're on a straight, I think you'll stay there, or maybe like lose 1 or 2 miles per hour. So it's
I
not
see.
quite as drastic as World, but yeah, I can. I think
Because
that's how it
the only reason why I compared World was because those three games, World, Most Wanted, and Carbon, all ran on the same engine.
you got Eagle, I think, right? Third?
Fuck, I could look it up. real quick.
It's EA Graphics Library 3, I think, is the one they use. Maybe.
I'll
I
look
don't
it up
actually
real
remember.
quick.
Or the second one. I don't know.
And then engine.
Yes. I know it's an EA Graphics Library engine, but I don't actually quite as much know which one it is specifically. Hold on. I'm actually curious because I don't remember if Pro Street and Undercover ran on the same engine or if Undercover ran on a modified version of the same engine Pro Street
I
did.
think it was
There are a lot
I
of
feel like
similarities.
it was the same because the handling models of both of them are really weird.
Yeah, and then also I noticed like certain sound effects and things. Well, you can like copy sound effects, so that's a stupid argument, but it gives me the feeling. But again, I can't judge based off the feeling for that. But yeah, there are a lot of weird and interesting things. And here's the thing, I haven't played I would consider on a subjective level Need for Speed Carbon to be my favorite game, but I know there's a lot that I don't know. So honestly, if you're listening to this, don't take anything I say for don't take everything I've said with a grain of salt, because I actually don't know as much as a lot of people in the community have. So for people who've messed with the files and looked at this and that, they who could prove me wrong. I'm sorry. This is just based off of what I can think of right now, according to memory, and maybe I have a skewed perspective. I don't know, but this is just what comes to the top of my head. So yeah, there you go.
I don't know why. Because before I was able to find it, I can't find World's engine anymore. I know
That's
it's just another version of
talking.
Carbon Most Wanted engine. I can't find it though. Can't find the name, like the specific name. It's unfortunate.
I'm pretty sure it is the Eagle engine, but or it's EA Graphics Library. Let me check here. Actually, I'm looking at some of the the first ones. I think like high stakes. Is that Eagle 1 the first? No. That's just a weird section on the page. Nope, I don't think so. Right here. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 and Underground were the first ones to use the first version of Eagle. Underground 2 uses Eagle 2. Most Wanted, Carbon use 3, and I'm assuming probably also World, who knows. Pro Street, Undercover use the next one, and then... Pro Street uses Eagle 4. Undercover uses a modified version of it.
Oh, so you were
okay. Wait, no. World uses a modified Eagle 3 engine with the physics of earlier games with an external GUI programmed in Adobe Flash. Okay.
They don't Frankenstein with these fucking Eagle engines.
World, fucking you can tell me I'm wrong all you want, but World has the best fucking handling model. Period.
I need to play that.
Debatable.
There's a
Honestly,
lot to fucking learn.
I'm not gonna argue like hardcore argue against it, but I think it's so precise and everything, which is great. But I wish there was a little bit of more understeer here, a little bit more oversteer there, or whatever. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt out of it right now.
There's a way that I drive in World, which is like basically there's a lift off oversteer is what makes you corner a lot better in that game. Just because, like, you know, obviously the game, all of the games, like Carbon Most Wanted World, you can't really drift very well. You can power slide, but you can't really drift. True. And in that game, when you do lose traction, you lose traction, but it's controllable traction to the point where if you counter steer, you'll straighten back up. But if you stay in that like period of lost traction for a certain amount of time, you could actually corner better than if you were to like, you know, stab right or left on your fucking keyboard.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Like
so yeah, it's all about like it's about braking and downshifting, which will move all of the weight from the rear of the car to the front of the car, making the rear end lightweight so you churn in more.
Okay.
Hey, there's midship boys right there.
That's also front wheel drive boys, baby.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yours is like, yeah, you can be more severe with it. You can just slam the fucking brake if anything.
But
then
again, I have like 3,500 pounds of my car like working either for me or against me, so it's like
my shit's a 10 can.
The Miata's a tin can, obviously, but my 6 is fucking, it's heavy as balls. It's heavier than a fucking Mustang.
Yeah, but mine's literally a tin can with no interior or anything or exhaust. My should be light. They should on Weight Watchers.
Yeah. All right. I think we're about nearing the end here, but I wanted to say one thing, which I think is funny now thinking about it. I remember one of my first interactions with both you, Niner, and Stelio, long ago. Once upon a time, it was one fateful Drivecast episode where I left a comment. I was roasting Richard. I was roasting you for like just like some kind of a fun little thing, and then but I worded it really stupidly, so it seemed like I was genuinely mad. So that was bad on my part. I remember Steeler, you replied like, "You mad, bro?" And then Niner, you were like I'm like, wow, you need to like rethink if you're so serious about a podcast. I'm like, what, guys? I just want to be your friend. I don't actually mean it. It was hilarious.
When you're a flaming victim, that's crazy.
That does not sound like you.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
No, I thought Niner, you responded the way you did because I worded my comment like just stupidly. It's gone now. I deleted it because I looked back and I was like, yeah, actually, no normal person would actually tell that I was joking.
Honestly, like nowadays, if I see a comment like that, and they're genuinely like being serious, which you weren't. Yeah. I'll just like leave a reply and I'll just say retard lol and then just leave.
Retard lol.
But now it's gone full circle.
The name of this episode, retard lol.
Oh man! But hey, now we're all here. What do you know?
We're all buddies.
Look at that. Yeah. All right. So, Niner, it was a huge honor having you on. Come back anytime. This is fun.
I very much enjoyed this. I miss doing podcasts because, you know, all of the boys are fucking
hustling,
doing their own shit.
They're hustling.
Right now, formerly known as Drivecast, now it's Deadcast.
No, Corpse Cast.
Corpse Cast.
Oh man! All right. Well,
thank you
that
for
was
having
great.
Me, boys. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is great. I hope we can do something like this again, and we'll see you guys all in the next one.